Let me get started here. So officially,
Okay.
welcome to today's webinar. Thank you for spending time with us today. Today's webinar will be focusing on the walkthrough of Ask Alex, which is an AI-powered digital twin assistant. My name's Angela, so I'm sorry I cannot turn on my camera because that will just mess up the recording here. But I have a co-host today. His name is Jeff Chen, who will be really chiming in to answer any questions, especially at the end. So let me jump into the next slide here. Before I go into the core content today, I want to talk a little bit about Microdesk, give a little introduction. We're an AECO technology consulting firm established in 1994. We were actually acquired by a company called Symmetry in Europe earlier this year. So we currently have 13 locations in the US and the UK. Across all these locations, we have 300 professionals and a little over 230 AECO consulting specialists and software developers that really addresses all the needs that we have in all sectors, in all disciplines, in all stages across the AECO industry. So some of the hottest topics in the AECO world are globalization, urbanization, and sustainability. Urbanization studies suggest that the US will be building 114 cities the size of Boston in the next 30 years. Here at Microdesk, we're going to be helping to make sure you are prepared to meet these demands. We use software from industry leaders and combine it with our vision and passion for sustainability to meet the demands of urbanization. Our team of industry expert consultants are redefining project delivery and asset management. We also partner with world leaders such as Autodesk and IBM, of course, to utilize innovative technologies and methodologies to empower sustainable design and overcome local challenges. Our vision is to reduce the environmental impact of urbanization by helping the AECO industry to design, construct, and operate better projects more efficiently by leveraging the fullest potential of BIM, VDC, and asset management. So some of our industry leading partners here are, of course, Autodesk, IBM, as mentioned before. We also have partnership with Penzura, Esri on the GIS side, Eagle Point, Enscape, and Bluebeam. So now finally, we're jumping into the core of our webinar today. Here's a little agenda of what's going to happen in the presentation today. First, we're going to address what is Ask Alex, and then we're going to talk about why does the AECO industry really need this tool. And you might be interested in to know how is it actually trained. From there, we're going to talk a little bit about the intent understanding and also the content understanding and how they work well together for Ask Alex. In the end, we're going to have a good chunk of time spent on demonstration, and then finale will definitely be some Q&A session. So feel free to drop your questions in the questions box in the side panel, I believe, and we'll be answering all of them at the end. Before we jump into the presentation, just a little shout out to the team here. Jeff Chen as the product owner, myself as a product manager, Junhao as a backend developer, and Romain as a front-end developer for this tool that we have developed. Okay, so what is Ask Alex? Microdesk Ask Alex is an AI-powered digital twin assistant built to answer and visualize any technical questions one may have for a building project. It is purpose-built to suit all the environments as you are seeing on the right-hand side of the presentation. And as the title of this webinar suggests, Ask Alex is powered by artificial intelligence that allows you to ask questions in your own words. So when you ask Alex a question, it uses its training to understand the intent of your question and matches it with the data sets available and displays your results. All of this can be done in a matter of seconds. So some of the possible questions include, show me all air handling units. This is a very simple and straightforward question. The second one I'm showing here is adding a little more filter into the question. Show me all doors made by Anderson by adding that manufacturer portion into the query. And then next, show me supply air system. Again, pretty straightforward. Show me supply air system on level 2. Again, adding a little more technicality into the previous query. And lastly, as an example, show me all pending work orders of the selected asset. So these are some of the sample queries that we can definitely be dropping to Ask Alex, and it's able to digest all that information in the model and spit out the results, the appropriate results from your model. Jumping to the next slide, here is sort of a visualization of how Ask Alex can look like. Here's a chat box. So as mentioned in the previous slide, it's not really just an AI-powered chat box as you see sort of on the left-hand side of this mock-up, but also the most important part is actually the visualization that is able to query is able to spit out based on your query, right? So as mentioned in the previous slide, it's not just a chat box, but also a place for users to really interact with the 3D models, so that the hassle or the difficulty in opening Revit models can really be avoided. Okay, jumping to the next one. Why does the AECO industry really need this tool? So clients have questions from different perspectives, right? Clients' requests are countless, and this provides a simple and yet effective solution for all parties involved, and provides a way for everyone to dig into the model without opening Revit. So what we're really advocating here is that Ask Alex is using the Revit model or other platforms as a single source of truth. By connecting all of them, here we have 2D data here, 3D model, and maybe you are already in the operational stage of the AECO lifecycle for your building, then we can tap into the CMMS platform to get information. For currently, the current state of Ask Alex, we have used IBM Maximo as a benchmark, just because it's also the CMMS tool that pretty much dominates the North American market in terms of asset management and facility management. So throughout the presentation later on, you will hear a lot of IBM Maximo references as such. But don't worry, what we're really advocating here is that to use the Revit model as that single source of truth and tapping into the data that's stored in there to answer your questions. Okay, so jumping to the next one, in the next few slides, what I'm going to talk about is really using the combination of AECO lifecycle as depicted in the bottom here is design, and also painting a picture from different roles and parties that are usually involved in a building project. So for example, right now you're a building owner, you're currently in the design phase. You have tons of questions where you're spending your money on, and you can really use Ask Alex to answer some of the questions you have. And some of the sample questions that I have generated here are, please highlight the mechanical floor. You simply want to know where the design team has placed the mechanical floor on. Maybe you want to have some input on that. Show me all doors on level 31. Seeing where all your doors are on in this skyscraper, basically. Show me all meeting rooms. Show me all fire-rated doors on level 2. Show me the building's lobby. So all these questions are kind of some of the questions I think a building owner would be interested in. As an architect, you may be wondering the same exact question, but for very different purposes, right? Some of the questions that you're asking maybe for, maybe you're a BIM manager, you are in a role where you're trying to keep the Revit models very, very clean. So sometimes you do that by quantity. You just want to check on how many doors there are on level 31. And this is a great, neat tool to just be able to get that query right away without using view templates and filters in your BIM models, right? So jumping to the next AECO lifecycle stage, which is obviously construction. And in construction, as a CM, some of the questions you may be interested in are: show me supplier system. Show me all doors installed by Anderson. So again, you're adding a little more detail to your query. Show me the entire hot water system. Show me all fire-rated glazing manufactured by Japan Sheet Glass and Company. Show me all installed egress door, playing into details in regards to time, right? So these are some of the possible questions that Ask Alex is able to spit out. In operations, again, we have highlighted before, some relevant questions are: show me all pending work orders of the selected asset. Perform a shut-off analysis of the selected asset. Show me all assets on level 2. Show me all air handling units on this level that's selected. Show me all assets with meters. So these are some of the different and yet complex questions that one may be asking, that's relevant to their role and also obviously relevant to the life cycle they are currently in to leverage Ask Alex for. So jumping into the next slide, you may be wondering, wow, this is very interesting, but how is it really trained? How is it possible, right? For Ask Alex, we're using IBM Watson. IBM Watson has tons of available applications within its suite. What we're really heavily leveraging here is the IBM Watson Assistant and IBM Watson Knowledge Studio, using the two to really create Ask Alex. By combining the two, we're able to really dig into intent understanding, which is understanding the purpose of the question, performing pre-processing, and sending it to corresponding downstream channels. Don't worry, it sounds like a lot of words and doesn't mean much just yet, but I will give you examples in the end. Same thing for content understanding, which is performing advanced natural language understanding and capturing the content of the question and returning corresponding keys and values. So as an example, going back to the intent understanding, when you say run shut-off analysis of this valve or perform shut-off on this valve, it's picking up the purpose of the question is to perform a shut-off analysis, and therefore it's able to use that to respond to your query. Very similarly to the other side, to the right-hand side, which is the content understanding of the training, it's able to pick up keywords and key values. So as an example I have here is the equipment type. It's able to say access panel, air conditioner, air handling units, and dampers as an equipment type based on our training. And by combining the two, you're really able to get a solid training on this AI assistant to understand the query and respond to your query. So the next slide is really going to put everything together for you. How is it trained? We have tons of training material added to this training ground on IBM Watson, and it's trained with industry knowledge such as vendors, manufacturers, the most common asset types or equipment types, or really common CMMS related structure language. So some of the keywords that we have really brought in, maybe addressing a lot of the keywords that are used in IBM Maximo as a benchmark for CMMS, and so on. As we continue to train the model, to train Ask Alex, it's going to get smarter and responds with more accurate results. But just by looking at this paragraph here, show me assets made by Eaton, and we start to mark up that Eaton is a manufacturer. So it's understanding that next time when a similar sentence structure is shown to it, it knows that the next word is probably a manufacturer. Continuing with the example here, list me all valve on first floor. So you're start to describing the valve as an asset class. first floor is a location. So you can see as we continue to put in more training documentation into Ask Alex, it's really going to reliably grow smarter and give us better results. Okay, so I think I'm going to jump into the more exciting part of Ask Out of this webinar, which is the demonstration. So I'll go ahead and proceed with that. So this is really the front page of Ask Alex currently. The first thing it's going to ask you to do is to sign in, which I have entered here. Going to click on that. For the moment, sometimes it's yeah, sorry about that. So because we strive for connectivity, it's going to ask me for signing into my Autodesk account to read into my BIM 360 file. So I actually just signed into my Autodesk account. There were some steps that were skipped because I was already signed in. But here you can see this chat box showing up. It says, welcome to Ask Alex. Let's start by selecting a model. So it's showing all the hubs that I currently have under my BIM 360 account. I'll go to the one where I'm going to be demoing from. So let's Ask Alex demo, project files, and I'll go to this hospital file that I have set up for this webinar. So as you can see, it starts to visualize a lot of things that's currently taking from a published view of this model. And it says, great, you can now ask me questions about this model. So from the very beginning, what I'm going to do is simply asking, what can I do here? So hello, what can I ask here? You can hit enter, or you can also just simply click on send. In response, you can ask the following questions. Show me all assets, show me assets with parameters that you want to search, show me items with parameters that you want to search, show me all meters, show me all abnormal meter reading. The second portion of this paragraph is starting to get a little more operational heavy. But let's go back to the Revit and the design phase of things. What I want to do is I can ask, show me all doors. And let's see what it spits out. So here, as you can see, it quickly found there are 315 elements in this model that fits into the criteria, and you can start visualize the search results here by spinning around the model. What you're seeing is very familiar, probably because we're just leveraging Autodesk Forge Viewer as our visualizer here. So all the little tools at the bottom, and as well as this cube and the home key is all the same. It's directly from Autodesk Forge. So I can go ahead and ask the next question. Again, I think I want to add a little more detail. Show me all assets made by Eaton, as we have listed as an example in the presentation. And you see that it found two elements. It's right here and here, a little small to see. But again, let's start adding more details to this query. Show me all assets made by Eaton on level 1. Let's say adding complexity by asking for the floor information. So it zooms into the other one. And you can start, again, obviously, just looking around the search result. Obviously, you can also hit the properties. This is an Autodesk Forge Viewer functionality here, and start seeing the details around this model, this element, basically. Okay, so what I can do next, maybe show me all fire pool stations. closing the properties tab, you can see that this one is a little harder to see because fire pool station itself is very small. So this is where possibly it will be helpful to click into a result here. What I can do is click on any random one and see them zoomed in to its perimeter. And you can start jumping in to other ones by clicking through the list of results as well. And if you were to click on the home button, it would just zoom back out, right? Let's do show me all air handling units, let's say. So it shows all air handling units in this project. Currently there are 6, and obviously in the result on the right hand side shows 6 as well. Like I have shown previously, if I click into it, it will zoom into that asset. So now you might be wondering, because it's AI powered, is it going to really know like some of the industry lingos that we have? So air handling units, I know we often say AHU. So what I will show you is by going back to another query, and I'll jump back to querying the AHU. Just see that, just to show that it's able to pick up all these different acronyms as well. So show me all, I'm just jumping back one. All right, so now again, 105 fire pool stations are found. So now I'm gonna go back to show me all AHUs. So it's able to pick up that it's trained with the industry lingo as well to pick up all the acronyms that we often use. Okay. So now jumping to the more exciting stuff, I can also show me return air system, something that's not an asset, but rather a combination of elements in the model. So it quickly spits out the return air system that are currently in the model. And you can obviously use, again, some of the native Forge Viewer options here by using levels here. You can do level 7, level 7A, level 6 to start seeing that return air system breakdown by level. By unclicking the levels, I can jump back into the whole view again. The next thing, what I want to do to this query is maybe I'm interested in the operational side of things. What I can do is click on an asset, and here I'm just really clicking on any of these random ones. Like these are VAV boxes, I'm guessing. So I click on one. I just want to make sure I'm clicking on an asset really. Click on properties. Okay, I see it's VAV box. So what I can do next is by typing in perform shut off analysis on this selected asset. So it's sort of analyzing what's going on. And what it's telling me is that if this VAV boxes is shut off, then this entire wing of return air system is going to be affected by this shutoff. And you can see again a list of all these different elements that are highlighted here by jumping through the list results. Okay, so those are some of the sample questions that we can ask Alex. What I want to do next is really a simpler one. As a BIM manager, you're working in an architecture firm, maybe you're in space planning for the building owner. What you can do, come in here, you can do show me room P101. So it's also reading that room information that we have available here. So, And again, you can spin it around to kind of see its surrounding and all that. So you can really do a lot of the queries of Ask Alex, and that's currently what I have for the demonstration. Let me